Hey there, welcome to the Larry Brand. Sovereignty is the supreme authority of a state or a government to govern itself and make decisions within its own borders without any external interference or without external interferences. It is a concept, a fundamental concept in international relations that is often used to describe the autonomy or power of a nation or a state. If sovereignty is an international concept, what has it got to do with family or parenting? Watch till the end as we explore, as we answer these questions that I now see are coming up in your mind. Maybe I can read your mind, maybe I'm clairvoyant. Stick to the end, go on this journey or this ride with me as we explore the concept family sovereignty. Now, if we've said that sovereignty is the ability or the power, the supreme authority for a state or a government to govern itself, doesn't it now mean that the family has the supreme authority or autonomy or power to govern itself? Are you getting the flow? Are you getting the drift? Good. If that is the case, is your family a sovereign state? Please remember here on the Lorry brand, we are full of extended metaphors, parables, allegories, similes, and what have you to explain maybe concepts that were waved off as ordinary so that you would actually pause and think deeply. All right? Pause and think deeply about this concept and make sense of them and how much of them you can apply to your parenting journey. Now, if your family is a sovereign state or a sovereign nation, what does that mean? You are her government. And as the government of the family, what are you doing? Who are your allies? What is your border like? Are you who are the members of your board of advisors? Do you have a military? What's your defense system like? Let us now begin to think like a state. You stop thinking as just a tiny little baby unit where that is unnoticeable like an atom, and start thinking like should I say a state. Now, here in Nigeria, my home country, a lot of people are quick to blame the government for literally everything that is going wrong. I get it. Now, while it is okay to heap the blame on someone else, have you paused to take responsibility for your own family, your own state, and how you've been governing it? What have you been bringing to the table? But how have you been ruling or governing this state that is in your custody as the government? Remember, you are a sovereign state, right? You have the power, you have the autonomy. Now, as much as states claim to be autonomous or they can actually be by themselves, you know that no one can actually function in isolation, right? We cannot subsist totally by ourselves. Meaning, even if the United States is a sovereign nation and Nigeria is a sovereign nation, every once in a while we still need each other to cooperate, to cohabit, and then move the should I say world or the international front forward. Meaning, even as a family unit as autonomous as you are, you may still need insights here and there from other families, or in fact, insights from your government, like the government of the country, to be able to fare well. Now, what does it mean to have autonomy? What does it mean to be sovereign as a family? It means that you're able to establish your own goals, right? You're able to establish your own goals as a family. You're able to work with a vision as a family. What are your goals? I can never emphasize this enough. What are your goals? What did you set out this year to accomplish? How far have you gone? What tools are at your disposal? What resources have you channeled to achieving those goals? What systems have you set in place to achieve those goals? A wise man once said that you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. What systems do you have in place? What structure do you have in place? What foundation have you built to ensure that you're able to go out and get those goals? What is your vision as a family? What is your family known for? What adjectives will make it to the descriptive composition if I ask today about the, should I say, Wanko family or the Olise family or the, how did Olise come to my mind anyway? Or the Amadioha family, for instance, or the Clark's family. What would people say, maybe in your immediate environment, about your family if I come to your area or your street or your estate to find out about your family? Oh, I'm looking for the Potter's family house. I want to go into a business relationship or arrangement with them. I need to find out how they are as a family. What will be said of you? What adjectives will make it to that descriptive exposition or composition about your family? Is it clear cut that you are disciplined, that you are highly motivated, that you are a family of integrity, that you are a peaceable family? Is it clear cut that you're very arrogant, rude, or full of yourself, or always yelling, or emotionally unintelligent? What will your neighbors or people around you say about your family? What goals? What's your vision? What's your mission statement as a sovereign state? Remember, we're not looking at your family as a unit in this um, class or session today. We're looking at you, we're treating you as a sovereign state or as an entity or a nation. Your children or other members of your household being the, should I say, the citizens, and you and your spouse being the government that is heading or ruling the nation. Now, what are your laid down rules and regulations? What systems do you have in place to enforce those rules and regulations? It's not just enough to lay down rules. The government is made up of three arms: the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary, right? Now that you have set the laws, what system do you have in place to make sure that when the rules or laws are broken, consequences are meted out immediately? Or is there a system in place? I think you're getting the drift. Yeah, I trust you. Cool. So, what are your rules and regulations? What regulatory measures have you set in place to make sure that those rules and regulations are respected to the T? Are there and punishments? Remember, here on the Lorry brand, we advocate for teaching, training, discipline, not corporal or fiscal punishment. Okay, how are you going to manage or resolve a conflict? What are the rights, duties, and obligations of the citizens of your nation, the nation called the Clark family? What are the rights of the citizens? That a child is a child does not mean that he doesn't have a right to speak up for himself or to speak up and be heard. That a child is 3 years old does not mean that he doesn't have a right to say, Mommy, what you just did hurt me. And then that he or she's a child does not mean that he doesn't deserve an apology for that action. So what are the duties, the rights, duties, and the obligations of members of your family? Are you seeing the big picture here? Let us stop thinking as of our family unit as just a tiny microcosm happening somewhere or nowhere, but as a major concept, so that we'll start living in that office, living within the confines or living in that awareness. So I was preparing for this presentation. I think it piqued my curiosity. I wanted to find out how many families there are in Nigeria, my home country, and I found out that according to the last census or survey, 211 million, yeah, 211 people in Nigeria. And now, because the family structure differ as across board, we can't really tell how many families there are. So, where am I going with this? If you expect the government to come and tell you the rules that will apply in your family, the duties that will apply Imagine how it would be when we all are different, right? As citizens generally, or as individual members of this family unit, and then the government now has a template for all the families that make up the 211 million people in Nigeria. How would it be? Now, because the family unit is a vital part of every nation, you as the government in that family, you are able to tell what the talents or the talents or the gifts of the members of the family are, and then you're able to assign roles according to those. You're able to even assign roles just to teach them what they don't know, or to help them get better, or to help your children get better at what they already know. Meaning that autonomy has been given to you, that power has been given to you. So if let's assume that we have 100 million families that has given birth to 211 million people. We have 100 million families. And then the government of each of these families do what they're supposed to do. They have laws in place, they have goals, they have vision, their border is secure, their economy is flourishing, everything is okay. Don't you see that the larger society will be okay in itself? So while it is okay to blame the government for not providing basic amenities, by not for not making the hospitals okay, for leaving the roads in deplorable conditions, is it okay to blame the government for not raising your children right? Is it okay for raising pompous children who are full of themselves and sport brats? Is it okay to raise children who cannot look after themselves or take care of their immediate environment? Is it okay to raise children who cannot think for themselves? Is it okay to raise children who expect to be spoon fed, who expect for nannies or caregivers to do every single thing for them? Is it the government that will come and raise your children for you too? Now, even if there are laws in place to guide a lot of things like regulations and or maybe rules about childcare or and so on, you have so much power in controlling the quality of children you're raising. And as a state, with the kind of um, power or dynamics in your home, will other families want to be your ally? Like, what family can you attract? Let's say Nigeria as a third world country, and maybe China, and maybe the United States, and other states, countries in the world. Are you saying, like, how would you partner with bigger families in quotes? Do you even have what it takes to be allies with these families? You know what I mean? I know you can use your tongue to count your teeth. Those in Nigeria get it. Use your tongue to count your teeth. Now, are you raising a family that is a formidable force to be reckoned with? Or you are just living powerlessly and acting like, I just give birth to the children. Let them just grow up and grow up just like that. Are you raising your children or you're rearing? The number three will be building strong relationships and communication skills. That is how you harness your autonomy as or your sovereignty as a family. You build strong relationships amongst your children, where some people are talking about sibling rivalry, other people have gone far and are now dealing with sibling harmony, sibling mentorship, having the little one look up to the other one, and then the other one, and then the other one, and then the hierarchy stands. Because one day you'll be called away from Mother Earth, and then these children will be left to live by themselves. So maybe in the future they'll be married, they'll be raising their own children, but then will they have the support, the blessing, the cooperation of their siblings when you're long gone? Are you the only one binding them together now? Are they only able to stay in the same room because you are present there? Or are you helping them build a relationship that will stand on its own when you are long gone? Will they look out for each other because they care or out of obligation or duty? Are you getting the drift? And when we're growing up, my dad used to always make sure that my older one looks out for me. I didn't get it until maybe now, much later. I came to understand that if our relationship was only based on being siblings, growing up and having him as our or having them as our parents, we probably definitely would not look out for each other now because we grow, some get married, life just happens, and then everybody no longer has to be under the same roof like it was when we were growing up. So relationship, what communication, what relationship have you built or are you building right now amongst your siblings? How are you fighting sibling rivalry? How are you grooming sibling mentorship or sibling harmony? How are you helping them build or cultivate communication skills so that they'll be able to communicate when they are hurt or sad or mad or angry, when somebody offends them, especially amongst the siblings, instead of taking it out in anger and becoming physically abusive? Is the older one using their strengths in protecting and nurturing the younger one, or is it a physical bass bulls fight? Bass bulls, again, only Nigerians on this on this strip will understand that. So the next will be educating yourself and always striving to be a better person, personal development. A lot of us, especially in our third world, Nigeria, the last time we picked up a book to read was when we were in the university, maybe a decade or more ago. We have jobs now, we can make ends meet, we can maybe go from paycheck to paycheck. So the need to study is no longer there. Actually, can I shock you? Some people are still struggling to design basic stuff on Canva, like maybe you want to type out your goals, you haven't even grasped the knowledge of that yet. Meanwhile, some people are now already learning the latest sophisticated tools like AI that they are using and harnessing in running their homes. Mediocrity is no longer an excuse, all right? Because you are raising children for the global platform, global players. Like I would always say, stop raising your children in your home for your bedroom. Raise them to be global players. Raise them with the world in mind. Raise them so that even if they find themselves outside this country, they can thrive. A lot of us are following the bandwagon of Japa. Now, I am not saying stay in Nigeria, and I'm not saying leave. I'm just saying, are you actually leaving because you have evaluated according to your family's dynamics, your goals, the long haul, your vision, and your mission as a family? That leaving the shores of the country right now will help you achieve those goals, or are you leaving because somebody somewhere has said something, and then the fear of them associated with everything going on is what's pushing you to leave? Have you prepared your family now? If you had it in the works to leave Nigeria in 2023, I believe that in 2003, if your children were two, then you have already started grooming them to subsist in whatever country you are dreaming to go. So you're no longer living and designing next week or designing 1 year. You are designing your decade. Meaning, if you are going to travel in 10 years out of the country, you have started grooming the children to function very well in the country you're taking them to. So it will not come as a shock to them when they get there because they're already learning the language of that nation. They're already learning about the government of the country in question, and they're already learning how to survive, not just survive, but thrive in that society. So a lot of us just carry, like some people quit their job, sell off all their property, pack their children, and now off they go. And then when they get there, reality sets in. They were not ready for the climate. And then what happens? The society sucks in their children. And I'm sorry. Do you know all that is preventable? I'm not a harbinger of doom. I'm just trying to make you think. So if you have it in the process or in the plans to up your family and leave, start preparing from today. Build their communication skills, build their EQ skills, teach them self-control, teach them delayed gratification, teach them sex education. There's a whole lot to learn before you just make some decisions and make sure that that decision to leave is not an emotional one. You weighed all the pros and cons and it aligns with your vision as a family. And then according to the time and season of your life. Okay, education, you need to keep pouring into yourself. You need to keep learning. Don't tell me that I don't know how to read. Reading is a skill. If it is a skill, it means it can be learned. Nobody was born with any skill. We came in here and we learn. We keep learning and keep upgrading and updating ourselves so that we will keep being parenting advantages to our children. Now, it is okay for you not to want to learn for your own self. But have you asked yourself how it will be a limiting factor for your children? Some of us are parenting with the knowledge we acquired 10 years ago. Level up, level up. It's time to evolve. It's time to evolve. It's time to unlearn what you need to unlearn, learn some more, and then relearn again. To be a sovereign family, to operate on an autonomous level, you have to build resilience. You have to develop self-sufficiency and resilience. The government will not come and put food on your table. Now, we already know, especially here in Nigeria, that one source of income cannot even fully cover your bills rather, meaning you have to be self-sufficient. Stop waiting for someone to come and rescue you. You are your own rescue. What skills are you learning right now? Have you seen the dynamics of the world? Are you watching for where the world is going to? There was the internet age, there was the cryptocurrency domination. Now there is the AI wave. What are you doing to position yourself, to be self reliant, to be sufficient enough to birth the dreams God has put in your heart as a family? You are co creators with the Father. Stop making excuses for your mediocrity. Yes, you graduated with a third class, and so what? Can you begin to learn skills now that will make you a global player, that would help you birth those dreams? Some of you, the difference between your current salary level and the one after you is a course you need to take, is a book you need to read, is a degree you need to acquire, but you're so complacent that you don't want to even dare for more. You don't want to even dare to be better because you've told yourself, actually, should be I have graduated now. Well, what is there any other thing else to do? Pick up your books and read. They will read themselves. The information you need to maybe to set your child on the right pace for life. Maybe in that course you're refusing to take that. You don't even know that you need to take yet. So you're either going to continue to remain a parenting advantage to your children or you be a disadvantage. Next up is participating in community life or performing your civic duties. Now remember that you're an autonomous state does not, or a sovereign state does not mean that you will now be living in a bubble. You need to go out there, mingle, find the people who are going the same direction as you. A wise man once said, if you go alone, you will go fast. But if you go with a group, you'll go farther. You'll go far. The Mastermind Alliance. If you want to learn about that, I think you should get the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. There's a whole chapter on that. Who is your mastermind? A country cannot subsist by itself, as autonomous as it is. Nigeria, for instance, imports almost everything from China. We are a sovereign nation, right? The US gets stuff from China too. And China will also definitely get some raw materials or resources from other countries, meaning we still work in synergy, meaning we still need each other, even as sovereign as and as autonomous as we are as a people. But then, what value will you be bringing to the table? Are you deserving of being allies with maybe a country? You think about a family that is like a superpower, like the United States. Look, the relationship, whatever your children will need in the future, whatever you even need right now, whatever your parents got before you, we're all um, dependent on the relationships you had, or they had, or your children will have. Look at your circle of friends right now. The countries, or that, okay, let's use countries still. The countries that are currently in your circle of influence. How useful or relevant are they to your children? There will come a time where your children or your child will not look up to you for some, will not come to you for some answers. Is your best friend wise enough? Is your best friend wise enough to counsel your child right? It shock you. Again, only Nigerians on this stream will understand that. Is your best friend wise enough? What relationships have you built your own self that will help your children tomorrow? What nations are you in alignment? Are you in alliance with that would help your children tomorrow? So don't just make friends because she's pretty, she's hot, or he's tall, he's handsome. Make friends with your children in mind because now you're a parent, you're a guiding light, you're a beacon. Your children depend on you. They are counting on you for that. What legacy are you building? What will your nation be known for? The natural resources you've been blessed with, how are you able to harness them well? How much do you have in your buffer account as a nation, your coffers as a nation? Are you in debt? What debt are your children going to inherit as a nation? The debts may not be financial, it may actually be a bad habit. It will put them in negative. Because if they are learning from you to be alcoholics right now, and then they learn and very, very much master your art, it will slow them down tomorrow in the future. That will be a big debt on them. If they learn to be chronic yellers who do not master or harness their emotions well, guess what? That will be a big debt. Are you willing to pass on that debt to your children? God forbid. Oh no, that's not a strategy at all. It's not a plan. You have to build the right relationships. You have to be goal oriented. You have to lay down rules and regulations. You have to enforce the rules and regulations. Every member of your family has to know their rights, their duties, and their obligations. Now, to be able to live fully well as a sovereign nation, number one, you must cultivate self-awareness. Man, know thyself. You cannot sufficiently pour from, you cannot pour from an empty cup, right? But then my mentor took it a top not a top higher and said you can only sufficiently pour from your overflow. What does that mean? You become self-aware. You're learning about your triggers. You're learning about what hurts you. You're learning about your strengths. You're learning about your weaknesses, your temperament, your love language, your personality. And then after learning what happens, you begin to teach that to your children too. You have drank enough, you're now overflowing. When you're self-regulating, they are seeing how mommy or daddy handles conflict. They're seeing how mommy or daddy handles stress. They're seeing how mommy or daddy behaves when they are stressed out. They're seeing how mommy and daddy, regulate their emotions. And what happens? Monkey sees, monkey does. Remember, we are no longer in the age of do as I say, but don't do as I do. We are in the age of irritation and then, observation and then imitation. Whether you say it or not, they are looking, and trust me, they will definitely be doing if they are not doing already. Number two is challenge negative thoughts. As a man thinks, so he is. As a man continues to think, so he continues to become, so he continues to be. So if you want to live as an autonomous state, as a sovereign nation, you must challenge negative thoughts. Some people have left Nigeria today, not because they had to, but because somebody sowed the seed of fear in them and then they left and now they are regressing it in some country in the world because their family was not prepared, their marriage was not prepared for that. You don't just pack up your things and run away, you prepare so that you would at least make sure that everything is in your favor, at least to the best of to the at least the much that you can control. Challenge negative thoughts. Don't just allow thoughts come to your mind and fester. them. Examine the truth. Okay, somebody comes and tells you this is this and that. Examine the truth and its bearer. What is the need for them? Why are they telling you this? Why did it become necessary? There came a time in my life where I told everybody in my life to stop. If you see any negative news on social media, don't send it to me. Mates are this, helps are that, this is that, that. I know. But don't send to me, don't share with me. Because you may think that your willpower is strong enough to keep you from believing these things. But your mind is a soil. Whatever seed comes, you just think that yeah, I read it and I read it in passing. But there's such thing as a subconscious mind. It has registered, it's there. And it will continue to attract more of such thoughts. And before you know it, maybe you had someone in the house that came to sweep. The person was smiling. You start suspecting, why is this person smiling like this? Everything, every move, every action becomes very suspicious because a seed has been sown. Focus on your journey. Do these things happen? Yes, they do. Are you unaware of the machinations of the devil? No, you're not. Or you choose to dwell on the positives, because the more you think about positive things, the more you attract these positive things, and you do all you can to the best of your abilities to make sure that things remain positive. And then you trust a God that is above, that sees everything, that is omnipresent, and that is jealous over your matter. And you trust him enough to take care of you, to look after you even when you're sleeping. You don't think because you have a CCTV camera streaming live that things will not go wrong. Some of us place so much hope and trust in our CCTV cameras. You treat the people that work with you, that take care of your children wrongly, and you expect to capture the scenes of them reacting to whatever evil you've perpetrated. And then when you see such things, you say, hey, I said it. Yes, you go see what you define. Now prayer. You saw it because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the evil in people, you will see it. You're looking for the bad in people, trust me, you will see it. Just try and see the good in people. Yes, will there be bad eggs? There are a lot of them. But are you confident in God enough to believe that the footsteps of the righteous are ordered by God? But then what if you meet one bad egg? Is there a lesson God wanted you to learn in that season that He brought that person to your life to teach you? Maybe your guards were too down and He wanted you to put the defense structure of your country back in place. Don't be too quick to cry wolf. Sit down and think. That is what we do here at the Larry Brand. Help you think, make you think, guide you to think well. So that before you make that next big decision based on an emotion, you will think. The next one will be establish healthy boundaries. There are nations in this world that you can just not mess with their citizens. And then there are children in this country, especially here in Nigeria, but in the world at large. You can't mess with their children. Okay, let's take it to the school. Many schools, I heard some time ago, I learned some time ago that the children that are treated a certain way are children that everybody just knows that nobody will even notice. This thing happens, well, they won't know. Nothing will happen. Then I hate to talk about negatives, but let me bring it to your awareness. But a video about a pedophile I saw sometime last year, and he was asked, how do you target children? Who are your victims? How do you, of course, he will watch them for a while now. He will not just go and approach any child. Children that are neglected, children that are not taken care of, children that are lacking. It's obvious, the signs are there. There are tell signs here and there. So if you are busy, you are rushing off to work in the morning without taking care of your child, there's a predator there, there's a big bad wolf out there. He's waiting to huff and puff. If your structure was built with bricks or sticks or straws, of course he will huff and puff and blow it right down. So there are children in school that the nanny or the teacher or whoever will not mess with because they know that the government of this citizen will make will cause all hell to let loose. There are some that will be treated a certain way and nothing will happen. It's the same thing with countries of the world. There are some countries that their citizens will do something in any another country, and then the government will be able to intervene by something. I don't mean maybe negative. Maybe there's a hassle in the embassy or at the airport. You just know maybe by the passport they are carrying that they're citizens of a certain country, and then you don't mess with them. I don't want to mention names on this stream. But there are others that nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. So what I how are your citizens seen around the world? The world being the immediate environment around you. Are your children untouchable? The citizens of your family, are they untouchable? I don't mean that, okay, maybe when they go wrong, the caregivers or authority, maybe in their school, cannot correct them. I know you know what I mean. Are they untouchable? Or anything goes, you give them a knock and nothing will happen. You can even come now and flog your child, give them 20 strokes of the cane. Their mommy is traveling, is globe trotting, so she will not even notice. A child will continuously be molested under your care and you don't even know because you're busy. Remember, you will give account to whom much has been given. Of course, much is expected. So, what account will you give of the much God has given to you? The much being the blessing of these beautiful children. Because go to a lot of IVF clinics, you see how much, you hear how much people have spent looking for that child you're busy neglecting by your actions and inactions. That citizen you're not taking care of. That citizen you are allowing things to just go on around carelessly. Finally, invest in yourself, personal development. The knowledge you do not have will be a disadvantage to you. Like I said, why some people are still wondering what Canva is, for instance, or some other apps that make their life a lot easier. Some people are now learning artificial intelligence and how to use it to better manage their government, their families. So while you're okay with whatever knowledge you acquired 10 years ago, some people are looking into the future and learning about the zeitgeist of the era and mastering how they can use that to their advantage as parents. As parents, your parenting, it's a calling. What are you making of it? What are you doing with it? It is a blessing, a privilege to be called a parent. It is a privilege to be a co-creator with God. What are you doing with this privilege? How are you using it? What account of it will you give tomorrow when you leave here? How are you raising your children? What are your citizens like? The sons of Issachar was the tribe, the ninth tribe of the tribes of Israel that grew out from the tribe of Israel that grew out from the ninth son of Jacob. They understood the signs of time, the spirit of the age. There's a video on our channel about unraveling and mastering the zeitgeist of the era. Maybe you should hop on that and learn a thing or two from it too. They understood the signs of the times, and then they were not just okay in wisdom. They were good with military too because when Deborah needed some soldiers, they were able to send the soldiers. They were able to send 200 to aid her battle. They were formidable, so they lived on to be remembered in history as not just wise but as strategic, as formidable. So, what will your family be remembered for? What will your government your nation be remembered for? By your nation, you of course mean, you know now that I mean your family, not your country of birth or origin. So the power you have to create your own rules. The government of your country did not tell you what to eat for breakfast today or what you will eat for dinner. You made that decision by yourself. So are you waiting for the government now to tell you to teach your children to sweep, to do chores, to learn executive functioning skills? You have a lot of power at your disposal. How are you using this power? With the meager or whatever resources at your disposal, what have you done? If you're not faithful with a little, why would you expect to get a lot more? He who is faithful with a little, much more will be given to. So he who has more will be given. So he who has not, the little he has will be will be taken. Remember the story of the talent. So what are you doing currently with the resources you've been blessed with? Some people can actually some there are some families now that maybe can subsist on the salary of one, and then the other can maybe hold the fort in taking care of the family or taking care of the children or raising them a certain way. Are you raising kings or you're raising rooks or pawns? Maybe check out about chess, you'll understand. Are you crying or singing the songs of masses, or you're raising your children to be kings? Only a king can fully teach the tenets of a kingdom. Are you even aware you're a king yourself? Are you even aware of the power you wield as a sovereign state yourself? I'll leave you with that. Are you aware that you're a king and you should be raising kings too? Are you aware that nobody's coming to save you but you? Are you aware that you are sovereign as a family? Think on that. And if you got value from this video, as usual, please don't make us your best kept secret. Share with your friends and loved ones on your social media platforms, on your family groups. Maybe there's something, a word here for someone. Who knows? And like and comment and have an amazing day ahead. Thank you very much.